Hey everybody, I'm KK.
I'm Kristen.
And together we are
K Crochet.
And we're on the Hexi Cardi Party bus. Okay, first of all we need to ask something because Diane asked me this in one of the comments. She said, I have one question. Who's driving the bus? I have that same question. Are we on autopilot? I hope not. When she said who's driving the bus, it reminded me of the movie Speed with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. And if you've never seen that movie, have you seen that movie? Mm-hmm. The bus gets taken over by someone. It gets taken over by someone else because there's a device on the bus that if you go under a certain speed limit, something happens to the bus that is very bad. And so, so they have to stay at a certain speed in order to keep the bus from falling apart, so to speak, if you get my drift. So, I don't want to be on that bus, and I don't know who's driving. I don't know who's driving the bus. I mentioned maybe Mr. Elmo from Missy's Cottage might want to drive the bus, since he likes to drive Miss C everywhere. I also mentioned that maybe our Hot Rod, the dog, is driving the bus, which, I don't know. He's hyper. I don't know if I want him driving the bus.
Yeah, no, he's too hyper.
So maybe Mr. Elmo will drive the bus. I don't know. What do y'all think? So anyway, I say all that to say it's time for a Hexi Cardi pit stop. Pump the brakes. Let's talk. So, when you look at this pattern, one of the reasons I never wanted to do a Hexi Cardi Parti, besides just being plumb out intimidated, is because I always heard the stories about how the sleeves were so big and you couldn't get them to fit where you needed them to fit. Okay, so, you should be doing gauge for these things to make sure that your gauge matches hers, because that's part of the problem. The yarn you choose, the hook you choose, the gauge is all on you, right? But, that being said, if you didn't do that, I can't throw any shade because I don't do it either, but I did on this one. When she said to stop and measure your gauge, I did, and mine was pretty close. However, everybody is built differently, and I have bigger arms up top. I mean, I know all of our arms are bigger than our wrist, but I have bigger arms. I'm a bigger girl. And this pattern asks you to, which by the way, this is a pattern by Megan Crew. I think it's called the Day Date Cardigan. And I'll try to link all that down below. I always try to remember. But this pattern has the different sizes and how many rows you're supposed to do. So I am moving right along, and I got an email the other day from one of you about had I worked on the sleeves yet, and they needed some help. And I said, no, I'm not quite there yet. So I did try to hit the gas, move mine along a little bit, and get to the point where I needed to so that I could look at the sleeves. Because if I'm going to look at the pattern, I think I'm maybe a little different than others in that for me to look at the pattern and help you, I really need to be doing the pattern. I can't just read it and figure it out usually. Sorry. I am trying to fight a creeping crud. It's not here yet, and I'm hoping it won't be. So, for me to do that, I really need to be working the pattern with you, where you're at. So I hurried up and tried to get to the sleeve portion so I could see what it's all about, even though I did go ahead and read it a little bit and hopefully helped clear up some things that was, I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, so I say all that to say this. I finished my first panel, and I thought I had it clipped together, but apparently I undid it, so hold on a second. So I finished my first panel. That's what it looks like. I'm a bigger girl in a bigger world. Yep, whatever. So she tells, for my size, the pattern says go to round 26. Which, by the way, after you hit about round 18, that solid panel where you put a stitch in every stitch, whoo, is that a time and a yarn eater. And it was kicking me, I'm telling you. I was like, oh, I'm so over this. But only because I was trying to hurry up and get there, and put it in. I love the pattern. But, you know, it's easy when you're at the beginning, but it's kind of like C to C. Once you get to that middle section of C to C, you're like, oh, is this ever going to end? Because it takes longer. You know, that's part of it. So that was just me in a weak moment going, oh, please let me finish. So at 20 rows, which is where the smallest size stops, I looked at it, pinned it, and tried it on to see where it fit. And so when I did that, I told Kristen, I said, I just don't think that I'm going to go to 26 rows. Because for one, let me show you. For one, let's see. This is my sleeve. So it's big. And I'm not going to lie, I need it to be that big at the top. Because I'm a big girl. But at the bottom, I don't want it to be that big. Right? Because I've got a good, 3 to 4 inches on each side. I don't want that. So I got to the bottom. I went to the part where you start to do the bottom part of the sleeve. It's called an extension. And there's one on each sleeve. There's one on each part of the back. And there's one on the bottom. And I really like that about this pattern. I did not know that when I started looking at this pattern that that's what this was. But that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a chance to be able to lengthen it. Because I want to cover the back side of the bust. Beep, beep, beep. I want to cover it up. I also I like long sweaters. I did not want to have a band that cut me off at the waist. I don't like that. And I also wanted to be able to change up the sleeves. So anyway, these last 2 rounds right here on the sleeve, these are the extension. It's the extension part of the sleeve. So I stopped. Let me back up. Beep, beep. I stopped at round 22 instead of 26. Because it was going to be way down my arm. And the extensions for the sleeve were going to be it was going to be past my wrist. And I don't want like the big, I know this looks like a bubble sleeve cardigan, but I don't want the bubble sleeves like the big bubble sleeves that you used to get on the prom dresses, you know, the Debs ones that come out here. It looked like you stuffed it full of tissue paper. I don't want them that big at the bottom. I don't want that big balloon at the bottom. I want it to be different. So I put these 2 on here, these 2 rows. I even took them out and went back, and on one of them, actually on this one, I did like 6 extra decreases. The stitch 3 together, double crochet 3 together. I did like 6 extra ones to try and bring this down, but as you can see, it's still wide. So I sat there the other night and I thought, I'm just going to rip all that extension out and I'm going to start again on the sleeves, and I'm going to go back and do exactly what it says the whole way through the pattern. And then I thought, you can't do that because A, that's going to make the sleeve too long if you do the 27 rounds, and B, I was going to run out of yarn as far as happy, and I didn't want to have to go buy any more. I used 2 cakes with a little bit that was left over. It was a little less than 2 to do this one panel. I don't want to go into a third one. Number 1, I don't want to wear a whole blanket on my body. And number 2, I don't want to have to use that much of and go buy new yarn. So I thought, no, you're not going to do that. I thought, okay, fine. I'll just go back and do all the extension. Because the extension is several rows too. And I thought, that's not going to work either. It's still going to be way too long. And I thought, well, I'll do the extension and put my own decreases in like I started. That's not going to work either, I don't think. So here's what I'm doing. Because I watched Litza, and Litza has stopped hers at a certain point and talked about doing the extensions, it dawned on me that I could go back even further and stop the main pattern even further back at 20 rounds and take off these 2 extensions, this green and this orange, and take off this round here with the blue, and take off this round here with the blue, and go back to this pink. And that would give me this extra, couple of inches there almost, that I could take off and then start the sleeve extension and see where the decreases for the sleeve extension take me, because I only did the first 2 rounds, and there are other rounds. There's at least one other round before you do a repeat. So I'm going to do that and see what it looks like. I say all this just to give you guys a heads up that maybe you need to be trying on your Hexi Cardi and seeing how it fits when you do things. All the while remembering that there are extensions for the sleeves, extensions for the back panels, like where they meet in the back. Like when you do your 2 hexes, they are not going to meet if you put them on. You are going to, most likely, you're going to have to do an extension down the back on both sides. And it's simple, so don't worry about that. It's simple. And then you're going to do an extension on the bottom. You also have to do ribbing around the sleeves and around the, up and down the front, around the neck. And I'm thinking around the bottom, but I'm not positive. Maybe that the extension on the bottom will take care of that. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do with mine. Okay, y'all know, Kristen, can you pick that up? Y'all understand the word FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. So I have FOMO in the fact that I have a fear of missing out on finishing this. Like, I have a fear that everybody else is going to finish before I do. So that's why I'm here today, to say and tell you, it doesn't matter. You do you. Kristen and I were talking about this. I'll let Kristen show where she's at on hers. We did a live the other night, and she worked on hers that whole entire live, and she's going to show you where she's at on hers.
So, same spot.
That she was during the live. Yeah. But she's about 5 rows farther than she was when she started the live. So it doesn't matter. And we've been talking, about her working on it and stuff. But she just went back to school. And she's working. And we've had really bad weather here, which has made for some really interesting work shifts for her. Yeah. So it's okay that she is at 13 rows. It's okay that I've finished my first panel and started the second one. It's okay. But the reason I started the second one because I saw like Angelia over at Crochet House Mouse, she's already done her first panel and part of her second one, and I think she was going to start another one. Listen, it's all right. Okay? It's okay if you haven't started and you want to start, it's okay. Mm-hmm. If you have started and you've only done 1 round, it's okay. If you've finished the first one, it's okay. And you want to do a second one, that's great. If you finish one, by the way, send us a picture, please. Email or in the Facebook group. I will put up I think I'll put up a post today so that you can do like, just even if you want to show your progress. Okay? So, wherever you're at on your journey, on your Hexi Cardi journey, along the bus ride, it's okay. If you're ready to get off the bus because you finished, you're good. If you still have a few more stops to make away along the way, that's good too. But today was a pit stop so that we could have a bathroom break, grab a snack, not be hangry, and figure out where we're at with our Hexi Cardi. So take a bathroom break, grab a snack, not cheese puffs because they'll make all kinds of nasty stuff all over your or corn chips. They'll leave nasty stuff all over your Hexi Cardi. Don't do that. But let's just take a pit stop. Let's stop at the rest stop and see. Let's reevaluate where we're at. Look at the map again. We're going on a trip. We're going to look at the map. And we really do need to figure out who's driving the bus. We have a couple of buses, actually, because there were too many for the first bus, and we had to get another bus. So, either that or maybe we need to trade them in for one big bus. But we need to figure out who's driving because that's a scary thought. And who's buying snacks this round for the rest of the trip? But anyway, that's where we stand with ours. Let us know where you're at. Are you making a Hexi Cardi? Have you made one before and you've been turned off of making them? I really am excited about this pattern because it allows you to adjust it. It really is very forgiving. And I really love that. So I'm looking forward to looking at the extension for the sleeve. I think I'm going to I know I'm going to try it. I'm going to rip back because the other night I spent probably a good hour or more working on this, trying to see what I wanted to do, putting in a couple of different extensions on the arm, some that were hers, some that were adjusted by me for what I wanted. And it's okay to adjust the pattern to you. So Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking out these 2 extension rows. I'm going to take out the 2 complete rows that will take me back to 20 rounds. And then I'm going to work on an extension for the sleeve. And I may not even do the extension yet. I may finish the other panel first and then do it. Because I'm going to go back to 20 rounds and see where that takes me. And then see if that longer amount of time to put the decreases in for the sleeve will help me achieve the sleeve I want. And if it doesn't, then I'll go back and make my own decreases to make the sleeve the way I want it. It's okay to do that. It's okay to, manipulate stitches and make it your own. What do you think about yours?
I think I'm gonna go to 20 like you're doing and put it on and see where I should go next. Because I have a very loose tension and I haven't done a gauge check, which I need to do.
But this pattern's very forgiving.
It is. So I need to definitely be trying mine on as I go to see where I need to stop. Because mine is pretty big for 13 rows, I feel like.
And we've talked about that, the fact that her tension is loose and she'll get there quicker. And that's another thing. If you're thinking, well, I haven't even done this far, or I've got this far to go, listen, everybody's is going to be a different size. Some people will take longer to make it for that very reason. Kristen could sit down and whip this out in no time if she had the time. She crochets faster than I do, and her tension is looser. So she's going to get there quicker, and she's going to get there quicker with the yarn as well. I crochet slower, but I have more time to crochet than she does because I don't have to go to school. And my work is a lot less than hers. So, I have more time to do that. So let us know where you're at on your Hexi Cardi. Stop for a pit stop. Grab a drink, grab a snack, take a breath, and let's move forward. And we'll see where we are the next time. Jump on the Hexi Cardi Party bus if you haven't already, and check out everybody else that's doing it. There are so many that, I'm not even going to try to name them because I'll miss them. But if you're making one and you're creating videos, please use the hashtag Hexi Cardi Parti, PARTI 2025, and that way everybody can find you and see what you're doing, and maybe look at your color play and see how they like it. They may like it better than ours. You may give a tip that makes them say, oh, I really want to make one. I think that's the best part about this, is that we're sharing tips, and you guys have made this so fun. I had zero idea when we came up with a video that said what we would like to make, and you all started going, I want to make one of those. I want to make one of those. That everybody would actually jump on board and be like, okay, let's make one. And the support that you have given has kept me going. Because honestly, I probably would have quit a long time ago when I started. I probably would have never looked at this pattern had it not been for everybody going, let's make one. Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to make one. Because I was very intimidated. Now that I look at the pattern, my feeling of being intimidated about it was without reading it. It was just looking at the picture. Okay? And hearing the name Hexi Cardi. After I read the stitches and read through, I'm like, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. I know how to do that. Why did I think I couldn't do that? Really? We don't give ourselves credit for the things that we can do, and that's not to, to boost me up or anybody else for any reason. I mean, when it is simple double crochet and you know how to do that, and you can combine that with other stitches that you know how to do, we can't let the overall picture intimidate us. It's like the saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's how you make a Hexi Cardi, one stitch at a time. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. One step at a time. Jump on the bus. Let's go. It's time to leave the rest stop and go on our journey. Bye. Don't forget to be kind because
you don't know anybody else's journey.
Bye.
Bye, guys.